Okay, here we are in Chicago, Illinois, and with me, I am honored to be in the presence of Mr. Ted Turner. Mr. Turner, you've just done so much for cable television, TNT, CNN, Superstation. Could you kind of give us a brief history of how it just got started all?
Well, I started in television with a UHF independent station in Atlanta, and I learned early on that cable gave us signal parity and dialability parity with the VHF stations. So I became a cable booster back in 1970 when I first got into the business, and I saw the potential for a wired nation, and it's what turned out. So, it turned out real well for all of us.
And as far as the Superstation, where did you get like the name the Superstation? Because that just triggered a whole wide.
It's one of the two words that I've come up with that are in the dictionary.
Yeah.
The other one's the Goodwill Games.
Okay, yes.
Well, I'm trying to come up with. We were a station on a satellite, so we were different. We were different, and Super sounded good. That's what I was hoping it would turn out to be, and it did turn out to be that way.
Absolutely terrific.
It is a catchy name.
Yeah, it is. And with the Turner Classic Movies, and that's what's so nice about your programs that you put out, is that today we get there's a lot of attacks on violence in the programming and things like that, and that's what Turner Classic Movies isn't. It is just absolutely good movies, 24 hours a day, non-commercial interruption during the shows. How did that all come about?
Well, we had a very large library of classic films, and it seemed like a good way to use them.
Yeah, and you were in the documentary When the Lion Roars, MGM, the history of it, and your plans were to kind of take over the MGM studio. How come that didn't go through?
Well, it did. We bought MGM, but I was undercapitalized at the time. So I had to sell the production assets, which I did, and keep the library. But now, of course, with Warner Brothers and New Line and Castle Rock, we're very much back in the motion picture production business.
Oh yeah. How come you came to join with Time Warner?
Well, I had to join with somebody, and
yeah.
I knew them. I thought we were the best fit. They were strong on programming, and I was strong on distribution, and we felt like the future was a vertically integrated world. Jerry Levin and Time Warner owned about 18% of the company already, and so it just seemed like a natural fit.
1991 was like your Time Man of the Year. Was that considered your best year, or it seems like every year you're coming up with something?
Well, it's hard, it's hard to pick one year as being the best year. I mean, you could say 1995 when we won the World Series was the best year, or 1990 when I started going out with Jane Fonda, who's my wife now. I mean, or when I had my first child. I mean, I've had a lot of good years.
Yeah.
I don't try and set them up in order. I never think about that.
As far you are married to the lovely actress Jane Fonda, what is she currently doing? Is she not acting in movies anymore?
She's working. She started a not-for-profit organization called GCAP, which deals with trying to prevent unwanted teenage pregnancy of unmarried young women. That's what she works pretty much full-time on that and other charitable areas. And right now, she's a new grandmother for the first time, and she's really excited.
Oh, great. Yourself being very generous in charitable organizations as far as giving the $1 billion to the United Nations. Why, would you encourage other like CEOs or other companies to do the same, or what was the reason for doing that?
Well, I had made a lot of money, and even before I pledged the million to the billion, I should say, to the UN, I was given about $25 million away to environmental and population causes here in the United States. So I have been increasing my charitable contributions over the years, mainly because when you have a lot of extra money, what better thing can you do to give it to those that are less fortunate than yourself?
Absolutely terrific. And as far as a good friend of yours was Dr. Carl Sagan, who you interviewed, what were your fond memories of?
It's like you're doing me now.
Yeah, right. And how was it, your fond memories of Dr. Carl Sagan?
Yes, I really admired him tremendously, and we miss him.
You can travel as far into the future as you want, if only you travel close enough to the speed of light. You can't travel at the speed of light, you can't travel faster than the speed of light, but there's nothing in physics that prevents you from traveling at, 0.999 the speed of light. And then time for you slows down.
And you were in the movie Gettysburg as well. How was it being actually in the movie when you?
Well, that was a really short part. I had one line.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I just wanted to thank you again, Ted, for taking the time for this interview. You've done absolutely great things for cable as well. And thank you very much for taking the time for this interview.
Pleasure.